Hey guys, today I will be ranking my top 6 Tarantino movies. Now, Tarantino has a way with movies. He writes them superbly, he has dialogue that blows you away, his plots are always original and seem to submerge you in a world of action, adventure, plot twists, and characters that seem to become icons in mere years. Now, coming in at my number 6 is my least favorite Tarantino movie, Inglourious Bastards. Now, this movie in the trailer marketed a story about fictional Nazi killers killing Nazis in Germany. But the movie's really about a girl who survives a very, very intense scene of Christoph Waltz killing her family because she's part of a Jewish family that's being protected by another family. Now, while that scene is phenomenal, the rest of the movie is not so much. For me, I didn't like the fact that they would spend minutes and minutes just watching her life. I mean, in a usual movie like The Beaver, or maybe even World's Greatest Dad with Robin Williams, that's fun, that's cool, because you get to see an interesting life with an interesting person. But in this, it was just boring. You see her in a cafe talking to the soldier for 25 minutes. And that 25 minutes drags on. And even though the dialogue is superb, it's Quentin Tarantino, I think that if you're going to market a movie as something of a World War II action drama, you give that to them. You don't give them a girl. Now, while this movie is good, it's nowhere even great on a Tarantino scale. Now, coming in at my number 5 pick is Death Proof. I went into Death Proof knowing what it was, and I came out knowing that I knew it. But in between, beginning and end, is a zany, phenomenal, amazing Tarantino film. Now, with him, he didn't write it completely, he directed it, but he wrote with Eli Roth and Rob Zombie the plot for this film. And I have to say that it is a really good movie. Tarantino brings out the best in every actor. He really does. And that shines no more than in Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell had never played a person like this before in his movies, but it came so naturally in the movie, to where you were rooting for him to kill the good guys. He was funny, he was awesome, he was sympathetic, and he was just a cool guy. Stuntman Mike is one of my favorite movie characters. I wish he would have gotten his own spin-off movie, but unfortunately he didn't. Now, this movie it's filmed in a way like an older film, even though it's a recently made movie, and I love that. Tarantino respects cinema. He respects cinematography, and in this movie, that really shines. I mean, the way he films it, he knew what he wanted to make, he knew how to make it, and he made it. It's a great film. Now, coming in at my number 4 spot is Reservoir Dogs. Now, this film has some great moments. As you all know, it's a huge cult classic. It's one of Tarantino's firsts, and you just can't help but love it. It has all the Tarantinoisms you love. It has the phenomenal dialogue. It has the plot that keeps you enthralled each second. It has the action that blows you away each time it comes up. And it has just the feel of something that's going to become a classic. And it has. So, this film also has characters you remember. Each character is memorable and iconic for their own reasons. There's dark comedy and just average comedy throughout the whole film that keeps it lighthearted even when bullets are blazing and blood's going everywhere. Now, coming in at my number 3 spot is Pulp Fiction. Now, a lot of people are going to get angry that I didn't put this at number 1, but I can't because it's not my favorite. But I'll tell you what I do like about it. I like the fact that when this was released, nothing had been done like it. Most movies had a plot going forward, and it didn't stop for anything in between. But this movie goes forward, then back some, forward, back some. And as always, Tarantino has some phenomenal dialogue in it. He also has characters that, as everyone knows, have become iconic. And this movie does have its fair amount of edgy moments. As I said, Tarantino is at his best when he's pushing the boundaries. And this movie certainly does it. Bruce Willis, Samuel Jackson, John Travolta, they all have moments where they push the boundaries of what movies should allow, and every time they do it, it's awesome. This movie is easily one of the greatest of all time. Now coming in at number 2 is Django Unchained. For me, this was my first Tarantino movie, and I loved it. Never before had I seen something so phenomenal. From the characters that are awesome to the story that is one of the best I've ever seen. It takes an issue that never had a moment like this. In reality, no slave ever was bought by a bounty hunter and was able to kill the people who hurt him. But if it had, it would have been awesome. This movie takes every daydream we have when we read about this, about hurting those people that did these atrocities, and actually does it. Tarantino does it with, again, great dialogue and great performances from everybody. From Christoph Waltz to the Django actor, to Jamie Foxx, to Leonardo DiCaprio, who, holy crap, he is awesome in this movie. He plays the most despicable, just southerner you've ever seen. And I have to give this movie 5 out of 5 stars because I've seen it twice or 3 times, and each time I see it, even though it's almost 3 hours long, I'm sad when it ends, and I wish it was longer. Now, coming in at my number 1 spot is, and always has been, The Hateful Eight. I've seen this twice in theaters now, and I gotta say, the 3 hours spent on each time was worth it. This movie has some of my favorite characters of all time, and it also does something no movie has ever done before. No good guys. Every character in this movie you hate for one reason or another. And let me tell you, once you see The Hateful Eight, you can't see a movie again without comparing it to it. This movie has everything. It has comedy, it has drama, it has action, it has thriller, it has mystery, and one of the greatest themes and musical compositions of all time. I mean, when you see The Hateful Eight, you see an all-new kind of movie that just pushes boundaries beyond belief and shows you how great cinema can be. Again, Tarantino perfects cinematography with some great shots of the cabin, some great shots of what's outside, and taking his time to make one of the greatest films of all time. And again, as I say, Tarantino is at his best when he pushes those limits. And before you watch this movie, he pushes a lot of limits. The first one was making no good guys, you hate everybody, and the second one is one of the biggest twists in the movie. But I'll just let you find out on your own. Kurt Russell and Samuel Jackson both give Academy Award-worthy performances, and The Hateful Eight's probably in my top 3 favorite movies, if not my favorite movie. Now tell me what you think of my top 6 Tarantino movies. Like and subscribe.